Politics England is here in an hour. First, topical discussion and debate on BBC One. Over to Sophie Raworth with Sunday Morning.
Good morning. The Prime Minister and the country are waiting for the Sue Gray report, expected within days, into the government's lockdown parties. Sadly, we don't know what it says, so instead of more speculation, we're going to look at some of the other pressing matters at hand. Will the tens of thousands of Russian troops massing on the border of Ukraine invade? What can we do about it? And as more and more COVID restrictions begin to be removed across the UK, are we moving too fast? Or is this the beginning of the end of the pandemic? To try and get some answers this morning, I'll be joined by the Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary Dominic Raab. In the latest of our New Year leader interviews by Scotland's First Minister and the leader of the SNP, Nicola Sturgeon. And by the WHO's COVID lead, Dr. Maria van Kerkhove. And here to review the news this morning, the Daily Telegraph parliamentary sketch writer Madeline Grant and the actor David Morrissey. But we begin with the news headlines from Ben Thompson.
Sophie, thank you. Good morning. The Foreign Office says it's uncovered a plot by Moscow to install a pro-Russian leader in Ukraine amid increasing tension over a possible invasion. The Kremlin has sent tens of thousands of troops to the Ukrainian border in recent months. Moscow has accused the UK of spreading disinformation. The Conservative MP Nusrat Ghani has said her Muslim faith was given as one of the reasons behind the decision to sack her as a minister 2 years ago. The Education Secretary, Nadeem Zahawi, has called for Ms Ghani's claims to be properly investigated. The Chief Whip, Mark Spencer, has revealed he was the person who spoke to Ms Ghani and insists her accusations are false. Police in the US city of Atlanta say they're following up on a number of leads after the killing of British scientist Matthew Wilson. Mr Wilson had only arrived 2 days earlier to visit his girlfriend when he was hit by a stray bullet while lying in bed after a number of shots were fired nearby. And finally, it was a moment of British skiing history. Mr. Dave Riding! From the dry slopes of Lancashire to the mountains of Austria, Dave Riding wins Britain's first ever Alpine Skiing World Cup gold medal. That's all the news from me. The next on BBC One is at 1 o'clock. Sophie, back to you.
Thank you very much. Well, now to the papers, and with me to review them this morning are David Morrissey and Madeline Grant. Let me just show you the front pages before we get to what is actually in them. Before I'm going to show you the Sunday Times first of all, which is the big story this morning: sacked as a minister because I was a Muslim. This is the Tory MP who was a transport minister who says that she was sacked last year with a party whip telling her that she was fired from her ministerial job because of her faith. Plenty of other good stories on the front of the Sunday Times, which we will be covering. The Sunday Telegraph: UK claims Putin is plotting a puppet regime in Ukraine. Also, a lot of coverage this morning about the vaccine deadline for NHS staff, which is set to be pushed back, they say. The Observer: number 10 staff have swipe card data that was logged in probe of the Partygate. Lots more details about the Sue Gray investigation, what she might be looking at. The Daily Mail, there's some Mail on Sunday this morning, focusing on Whitehall and Boris Johnson declaring war on civil servants refusing to head back to the offices. The Mirror and The Sun both focus, their main stories are about Katie Price. Katie faces jail after arrest over text, they say. And the Sunday Express, it's a poll that they have seen which says almost 3/4 of Britons think Prince Andrew should be stripped of his Duke of York title. Now, before we get into the papers properly, I'm just going to tell you a bit about the reaction to the Sunday Times front page and the former Transport Minister Nusrat Ghani claiming that she was sacked because her Muslim woman minister status was making colleagues feel uncomfortable. Well, after that story broke last night, MPs from all parties came out to support her, including Conservative colleagues Steve Baker, Mark Harper and Tom Tugendhat, who called for an inquiry, and Labour's Tanmanjit Singh Desi. Then a cabinet minister joined in. Nadeem Zahawi, the Secretary of State for Education, tweeted there's no place for Islamophobia or any form of racism in our Conservative Party. Nuz Ghani is a friend, a colleague and a brilliant parliamentarian. This has to be investigated properly and racism routed out as #StandWithNuz. And not long after that, the government chief whip tweeted to say, to ensure other whips are not drawn into this matter, I am identifying myself as the person Nusrat Ghani has made claims about this evening. These accusations are completely false, he said, and I consider them to be defamatory. I have never used those words attributed to me. He then deleted his first thread and reposted with slightly different wording. Well, lots to talk about, as I said, in the papers. What is going on?
Fate, our future in our own hands.
Well, we'll have to talk about that.
That's the beauty and the essence of independence, and I believe that's what people in Scotland will choose when they get the opportunity. Plenty
more to discuss. I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk that another time. But for now, thank you very much, Nicola Sturgeon. That is all from me. Thank you for watching. We will be back next Sunday. Goodbye.